What if the most dangerous moment for your heart and brain happens every single morning, and most people never know it? There is a specific window between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. when heart attacks and strokes are dramatically more likely to strike. Not because of what you are doing wrong, but because of what your body's internal clock is doing inside your blood vessels. And today, you are going to learn exactly why your morning fasting window is one of the most powerful tools you have to fight back. Here is the science that should concern everyone. Research tracking heart attack and stroke data around the clock consistently shows a sharp peak between 7 and 9 in the morning. During this window, a dangerous blood protein called Pi-1 reaches its highest concentration of the entire day. Pi-1 is essentially a clot protection shield. It blocks your body's natural clot dissolving system from working properly. Your blood is simultaneously at its thickest after hours of sleep-related dehydration. Blood pressure surges as your nervous system jolts awake, and platelet stickiness increases. The result is a perfect storm for clot formation. Studies confirm that heart attacks occurring in the morning cause significantly greater cardiac damage than those happening later in the day. This is not random timing. It is biology working against you at the worst possible moment. The answer, remarkably, may already be built into your morning routine. Your fasting window, the hours between your last meal and your first meal of the day, turns out to be a powerful cardiovascular defense mechanism. A landmark study published in 2025 in a leading metabolic medicine journal found that intermittent fasting directly inhibits platelet activation and reduces thrombosis risk through a fascinating gut-based mechanism. People who practiced regular fasting had significantly elevated levels of a compound called indole 3-propionic acid produced by intestinal bacteria. This compound directly blocks platelets from clumping together, the very first step in dangerous clot formation. Participants with coronary artery disease who extended their fasting windows showed measurably lower clot-related cardiovascular risk markers compared to those who ate on a standard schedule. At the same time, fasting boosts your body's production of nitric oxide, a molecule your blood vessel walls produce that acts like a natural non-stick coating for your arteries. When nitric oxide levels are sufficient, blood vessels relax and dilate, platelets are less likely to adhere to vessel walls, and blood pressure naturally stabilizes. A comprehensive review of 66 studies published in 2025 confirmed that various fasting practices significantly elevated nitric oxide bioavailability and improved endothelial function, the health of your vessel lining. Think of it as your body polishing the interior walls of every artery and vein while you are not eating. Fasting also works through a third pathway that directly addresses morning clot danger. When you eat, insulin rises and blood sugar fluctuates, both of which increase blood viscosity and platelet reactivity. During a fasting state, insulin remains low, blood glucose stabilizes, and blood flows more freely. A 24-hour fast has been shown to reduce insulin levels by up to 70%, which directly correlates with reduced platelet aggregation and lower clot formation risk. This is why extending your morning fast even just from 8 hours to 14 or 16 hours can shift your blood chemistry in a meaningful direction on the very mornings when your cardiovascular risk is highest. So how do you make this work practically? The goal is not to starve yourself, but to strategically extend your overnight fasting window and pair it with specific foods and drinks that amplify the cardiovascular benefits. Here is a step-by-step morning vascular cleanse routine backed by the research. The moment you wake up, drink 300 to 500 milliliters of warm water, ideally with a squeeze of lemon. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your blood is at its stickiest. Rehydrating immediately begins thinning the blood and reducing clot risk within minutes. Lemon contains hesperidin and rutin, two compounds shown to reinforce blood vessel walls and reduce platelet aggregation. A 12-week clinical study found that a daily morning lemon water habit improved endothelial function markers by 23% compared to plain water alone. Within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, have 1 cup of unsweetened green tea. The catechin compounds in green tea particularly EGCG, are among the most extensively researched natural anti-clotting agents known to science. EGCG directly inhibits platelet aggregation, reduces oxidative stress on vessel walls, and prevents the oxidation of LDL cholesterol that leads to arterial plaque buildup. Large population studies show that 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily is associated with a 26% lower cardiovascular mortality rate. Fasting state absorption of catechins is also significantly higher than post-meal absorption, making your morning window the ideal time. Delay your first solid meal to at least 9 a.m., ideally between 10 and 11 a.m. If you currently eat breakfast at 7 a.m., shift it back by 30 minutes each week. Most people fully adapt to a 14 to 16 hour eating window within 2 to 4 weeks, at which point morning clarity, reduced bloating, and better energy levels become the normal experience. When you do break your fast, make it count for your blood vessels. The ideal first meal includes fermented foods rich in nattokinase, an enzyme found in natto and similar fermented soybean products that directly dissolves fibrin, the structural protein of blood clots. Nattokinase also suppresses PI1 activity, giving you a double strike against clot formation, precisely when your body is most vulnerable. Clinical data shows that regular nattokinase supplementation over 26 weeks reduced arterial plaque thickness by 36%. Pair it with 1 to 2 raw garlic cloves, whose allicin compound reduces platelet aggregation by an average of 29% in clinical trials, while simultaneously lowering fibrinogen levels by 14%. Omega-3 rich foods like fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, or sardines eaten 3 to 4 times per week further reduce blood triglycerides and platelet stickiness, compounding the effect. A simple recipe to bridge your fast and support your vessels is this: bring 2 cups of light broth to a simmer. Lower the heat, dissolve 1 tablespoon of miso paste, add firm tofu and a handful of dried seaweed and let it warm through. Turn off the heat completely, then stir in half a serving of natto. The key is adding natto after the heat is off. Nattokinase is heat sensitive and breaks down above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This bowl delivers nattokinase, fermented isoflavones, and iodine-rich seaweed in 1 cardiovascular powerhouse serving. Before you begin this routine, please take these precautions seriously. If you are currently prescribed blood thinners such as warfarin or aspirin, high-dose nattokinase, garlic, and omega-3 foods can enhance anticoagulant effects and require medical supervision. If you are managing diabetes with insulin or blood sugar medications, extending your fasting window must be done under a doctor's guidance to avoid hypoglycemia. Anyone with active cardiovascular disease, a scheduled surgery, or a known bleeding disorder should consult their physician before making significant dietary changes. And if you ever experience chest pain, sudden arm or facial weakness, severe headache, or vision changes, call emergency services immediately. These symptoms require emergency care, not a dietary adjustment. The core message today is this: your blood vessels face their greatest daily threat every morning, and your fasting window is one of the most scientifically supported ways to counter that threat. Extending your fast to 14 or 16 hours, starting with warm lemon water, following with green tea, delaying your first meal, and building that meal around nattokinase and garlic gives your blood vessels a daily cleaning cycle that no expensive supplement can replicate. Small, consistent choices made every morning compound into dramatically different cardiovascular outcomes over years. Start tomorrow. Your blood vessels are waiting. If this video gave you something valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone whose heart health matters to you.